you for joining us this evening, for those of you in person and also on the live stream. Tonight's program is the first installment in our fall 2025 PSA Reading Series. And to begin with the extraordinary poetry of Harryette Mullen, who many of you know, I think by your clapping and hooting, does not often read in New York, is really an uncommon delight. Tonight, we're celebrating not only Harryette being here with us, but the launch of her new collection, Regaining Unconsciousness, which is out now from Graywolf Press. And it's Mullen's newest full-length collection of poetry since 2013's Urban Tumbleweed. We have copies of Regaining Unconsciousness here for sale, and we hope that after tonight's program, you will purchase a copy, stick around to get it signed, have another glass of wine, and join us in celebrating each other in this space. The Poetry Society is a nonprofit that works to grow the place of poetry in public life. It was founded in 1910 and has a commitment to maintaining and celebrating poetry through signature programs like Poetry in Motion. We put poems on subways and bus systems around the country, poems on wheels. We send poems to homebound seniors, and also by directly supporting poets through awards programs and public presentations such as tonight's reading. So I just want to thank you for supporting the Poetry Society by purchasing a ticket to tonight's event, or if you are a member, thank you for supporting us with your annual membership. And if you're not a member, my colleague Sally Fullerton, who's in the back, can speak to you about membership after the program. So this evening, the program itself, our reader, will be introduced by my wonderful colleague, Cydni Thompson, who serves as the Poetry Society's Poetry Coalition Fellow. So thank you all again for being here, and please welcome Cydni Thompson to introduce Harryette Mullen.
Hello, I'm Cydni, and I'm really excited to introduce Harryette Mullen tonight. Mullen is the author of numerous award-winning collections of poetry, including Sleeping with the Dictionary, which was a finalist for the National Book Award and the National Book Critics Circle Award, and the Los Angeles Times Book Prize, and Recyclopedia, which received a Pen Beyond Margins Award. Mullen's poetry is set apart by its linguistic experimentation and sonic wordplay, wherein the dismantling and reconstitution of language often illuminates questions about the social structures that both constrict and define us. In Mullen's poems, we see endangered leopards inspiring envy at polka dances, or mermaids in the city deafened by screaming sirens. Her most recent collection, Regaining Unconsciousness, now available from Graywolf Press, engages with the interlocking issues of environmental pollution, technological advancement, and systemic oppression. Mullen's poems address us with both empathy and insurgence, asking, quote, "Could there be any more urgent alarm than paradise and literal flames?" While this book grapples with the strangeness of recent years, where machines masquerade as companions and humans grow increasingly divided, it's also humorous and reverent, celebrating what's still here: dandelions, clean sheets, and birdsong. These poems exalt and expose the intricate patterns of our contemporary world, a world we are convinced to try and save. Among other honors, Mullen has been the recipient of the Jackson Poetry Prize and fellowships from United States artists, the Academy of American Poets, the Guggenheim, and the Foundation for Contemporary Arts. She teaches African American literature and creative writing at the University of California, Los Angeles. Please join me in welcoming Harryette Mullen.
Thank you, everybody. It's so wonderful to be back in New York and to see all these friendly faces and people I haven't seen in a while. I'm just really kind of overwhelmed. And I totally forgot about a live stream, so that just made me more nervous. But I thought what I would try to do is read through the book and have maybe one or two poems from each section. You know, the book has 11 short sections. So I'll just kind of keep rolling through the book. And I thought I would start with As I wander, lonely in the cloud. Can you all hear me, by the way? All the way in the back? Yes? Okay, good.
Just the mic a little,
Sure.
just to get closer.
Got to check in. Oh, and I just announced that a cousin that I had never met until tonight is here from Connecticut. And we are from the Mullen line. Okay? All the way back to Alabama. All right, anyway. So, as I wander lonely in the cloud, smart machines armed with proprietary algorithms remain attentive to my wishes. They use a little-known, mysterious mental faculty to anticipate my urges. Ingenious applications of intelligence solve the problem of desire. By now, their ability seems less arcane, considering how my aspirations may be formulated to coincide with goods and services of marketers whose product lines cohabit in the cloud with the history of all my searches as I browse, added to the sum of my mediated sociality. The cloud's vast, expanding, and indefinite memory stores all the information I create in my interlinked communications, including what I'm writing to you now. As on my couch, I multitask in pensive mood, opening my mail to find a discount coupon reminding me that nothing says spring like daffodils. So this poem is actually ekphrastic because I was at an event where the person who played Morpheus in The Matrix, Lawrence Fishburne, was there, and my sister grabbed him and took a selfie. So this poem is called Photo Op with Morpheus. Voyaging in the dark, Morpheus, shapeshifter of dream worlds, often appears as a man clad in black. Of those who consult the oracle, he is a messenger, not a messiah, a believer, not a prophet. For tonight's celebration, he wears a sleek tuxedo and top hat, twirls a diamond-headed walking stick, flashes the camera a knowing smile. It is his mission to visit those who sleep without rousing, dream without remembering. Called to follow a vision in the long quest for meaning, he offers his skills as interpreter of signs. Taking your hand in his larger one, he traces lines etched in your palm. Raveling the code, he reminds you of what lies ahead. With the flash of a camera, you are suddenly awake. So, I wasn't going to read this one, but I will with that wake up idea. Wake up, butterfly. It's time to get going. The body unconscious devours itself. Spun in vivid slumber, your delicate shroud dissolves. You who have been a creeping, crawling thing, awake, take flight. So I have to thank Claudia Rankin for soliciting this poem for Poem a Day. It's called Weathering Hate. So it's on their website. And Arlene Geronimus, wrote the book Weathering, about how an unjust society degrades your health and, your life is shortened because of all that hate. So, and I said, today that I'm always interested when scientists use metaphor in their work. So this just follows the metaphor that she's using for her weathering hypothesis. The way exposed to weather, a body is worn. Velvet threads begin to wither. Rapid ripen beyond the burst bloom. Vibrant strands cut short, then fray, unweaving faded fabric. Sunstruck, rain-warped, storm-blasted, rough-sanded, in whipping wind that whittles rock. Small, tortuous fractures opened in stone where water freezes in the pores with grains of salt. Cracks in the surface pried apart by unrelenting pressure. With incessant freezing and thawing, shock and fatigue speed rugged stress to ultimate breakdown. Intemperate weather, abrading edges, gradually disintegrates resolute minerals. A boulder, even a mountain, will wear down. So will bodies, bent and broken under toilsome burdens, caving beneath unbearable weight, in adverse climate, exposed to harsh elements, caustic rains. So this poem was inspired by a class I taught, a single author course on the work of Gwendolyn Brooks. And so some of Brooks' language is in this poem. It's called Iconoclast. It has a little epigraph one of my students wrote in her response to this poem. I found it astounding how I have never seen broken glass as a form of art when mosaics are actually little pieces of glass put together, which are considered a work of art. So that's a UCLA student after reading a poem by Gwendolyn Brooks, poem that this poem is responding to. Iconoclast. I hurl a stone no hand has carved, wondering who shall admire my craft. In emergent air I create a clamor, scattering simple smithereens. If shattering provokes, I relish, not regret, this furious mission of a menace refusing to be manicured. As a poet would note, my jagged mosaic makes a masterpiece of mayhem, implodes a hole in their display of polished amplitude. If their pain is repaired, my risking hurt remains, not healed, but heard. My handiwork composed for an eye sighting a prize, an ear tuned to heed this overture, as the work begins with a shrine to my inconsequence smashed, its desecration, my creation. So, part of this book is thinking about health, like with weathering and with COVID. There's some poems that were written at the height of the pandemic and the lockdown and all of that. So this poem also has to do with health, and I guess you could say gaslighting maybe. This is Havana Syndrome. Intelligent investigators find no one to blame. Their thorough inquiry reveals no credible evidence of harmful intent or neglect. Their painstaking analysis can determine no external cause for your incoherent symptoms. Despite the timeline of onset, culminating with the visible distress of your invisible disability, they could not provide a convincing diagnosis or identify the source of your inexplicable suffering. Our experts cannot confirm your worst suspicions, but report with high confidence that your persistent disorder is very likely an unfortunate convergence of pre-existing conditions rather than any alleged threat of a nefarious foreign agent or exposure to some undetected hazard. So, because we're all suffering from the syndrome in one way or another, and they tell you, no, there's nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. Don't look over there. This is natural history. A skilled glass blower exhales a molten bubble. Burning liquid cools into a perfectly transparent globe. Within the crystal sphere, a primal landscape of abundant life. In this elemental scene, a captive herd of triceratops grazing, contented, unaware of confinement. They have never known the humiliation of an embezzler, handcuffed, doing the perp walk in an orange jumpsuit, or the psychosis of a condemned murderer staring at nothing, locked in a windowless cell on death row. Formidable creatures inside their glass ball, they feel as free as songbirds that don't yet exist. Supersized reptiles stomp and chomp primordial vegetation, mossy trees waving ferny fronds. Gulping down their meal, the hulking horny beasts start farting and belching, releasing greenhouse gas that fuels the flourishing forest. Enclosed in their fragile dome, a bunch of big-boned lizards that never glanced at a hominid, never voted in an election, never built a machine, composed a melody, or solved an equation. Neither have they pondered the meaning of life nor funded their retirement. Somehow they don't seem anxious or depressed. As a flurry of snowflakes swirls in their tropical zone, not one of them imagines green leaves turning to oil or coal to diamonds. So, okay, I'm going to read this one. Okay, so I never saw this movie, but I did read about it. Sharknado. I can imagine, you know. In the jaws of climate disaster, a hurricane hits Los Angeles, flooding the city with shark-infested seawater. As a computer-generated tempest agitates the Pacific, a rogue tornado drills into the roiling ocean, teeming with hungry sharks. In this sci-fi horror comedy that spawned multiple sequels and spin-offs, the powerful waterspout, a vortex of chaotic energy, sucks up a whirling funnel of killer fish, heaves them into the air, and dumps them in the submerged coastal city to devour its hapless inhabitants. Each wave brings another attack of the venture capitalists, sharks with pearly teeth. With so much prime real estate underwater in a devastating storm of epic destruction, predators are sure to bite. On all their ship-shaped spreadsheets, there's never a trace of red. So, okay, so here comes the poem that is not funny, but it does have a title that some people think is funny. Leopard coat spotted at polka dance. Your name may appear on the red list, but no one surpasses your style. They awkwardly envy your muscular body moving with fluent grace. They nakedly covet your dappled mantle of sunlight and shade, brilliant camouflage of dark rosettes adorning opulent fur. Wherever your feet happen to land, you were always the impeccable cat, though there were places you wouldn't be caught alive. Ever since leopard skins have been popular in fashion, your back has been a target. Exotic hide commodified, fierce elegance tamed and claimed as sleek chic. On the hunt for your pelt, the ones who shoot you down don't change their dirty linen. As for you, your glamour's too remarkable to hide. Uniquely stamped, you are stately in your realm, magnificent leopard, resplendent in your skin. So, okay, tribute to Vertimer Grosvenor. Yes, Vertimer Grosvenor. What happened to the movie? Is it Julie Dash is making a movie about Vertimer Grosvenor, who was in, she was in Daughters of the Dust.
And she's in the picture.
Yeah.
The sister's picture.
Yes, she's one of the people.
Sisterhood.
Yes, the Sisterhood. Yes, we have one of the co-editors and some of the people who contributed to other influences with this. And Courtney Thorson, her book called The Sisterhood, has the history of this group of African American women who changed literary history. Okay. All right, so anyway, this poem is called Colorless Green Ideas. Whose idea was it to eat raw kale? Should we blame the author of Vibration Cooking for unveiling naked greens? When another shopper at the produce market asked, pointing to her basket of collards, "How do you people prepare them?" Vertimer replied with a dash of spiteful mischief, "Salad. We make salad." Let's say that woman's family praised the collard green coleslaw she improvised. Then she went on to create turnip leaf salad tossed with pomegranate vinaigrette, mustard green Caesar with gluten-free croutons, and a heart-healthy bowl of gently massaged dinosaur kale, Tuscany's black cabbage. Of course, our early human ancestors, foragers following in the tracks of grazing animals, might have nibbled uncooked kale. Who knows how long it took to develop the recipe for a mess of greens, well seasoned, simmered with a streak of fat and lean? Then again, who knows what humanity might be if Eve and Adam had spared the fleshy fruit plucking only fresh green leaves from the tree of knowledge? What if the vegan Cain had never slain his carnivore brother Abel? All right. Yes, yes. So it's a food fight. So this is Never Touch the Hair of a Goddess. And, there's some real goddesses named in this poem. And then there's another goddess, who used to be human and has gone on to her deification. So I have a little epigraph from Toni Morrison. The earth itself might have been unyielding. Though in your dreams you might caress the face of a distant moon, mingle with stars, chase a brilliant comet in a celestial circuit far from carnal desire, this is not for you. Suppose you tried to stroke furious fire as if a human grasp might handle Gaia's flowing mantle, finger comb her radiant glory. Your will would swiftly wilt as you approach the blazing truth. This is not for you. Sooner tame a flashing comet's streaming locks light years away than stoop to gather jet black tears and loosen threads the goddess Pella sheds. Elemental ornaments of frozen time, indifferent to supplicating gesture. When folly leads to certain danger, simply admit this is not for you. Imagine your fingers entwined with gorgeous filaments forged in flame, dazzling strands of lustrous wire that slice and burn. Turn away to save yourself. This is not for you. So I will read Love Tofu. I wasn't going to read it, but I will read Love Tofu. It has a little epigraph. Vegan's license plate recalled in state crackdown. How much do I love tofu? You knew I love tofu for dessert when it's silky, creamy, sweet, and dreamy. I also love tofu as a hearty entree when it's solid, firm, and fleshy. Yes, I love tofu as my tongue savors every taste and texture. In the kitchen when it's sizzling, I picture how we'll saturate that naked canvas, ready to be splashed with flavor. I love tofu when we're basting and tasting our spicy special sauce. I love tofu in all seasons, day and night, when feeling out of sight. Why, oh, why do I? Well, why not? Surely you knew I love tofu more than I love to argue. Just think about why they recalled that license plate, right? All right, where are we? Okay. I read it in, it was a news story. So the little epigraph, I don't know what state it was. I don't think it was California, but they did that. They said, no, you can't have this because it's an obscene message on your license plate. So, yeah, so that's what started that poem. Okay, so this is Hotter Than July. I borrowed the title from Stevie Wonder. A month of picnics, drive-thrus, and cookouts. For breakfast, free-range eggs fried sunny side up on the hood of a gas-burning car. At noon, fish poached in lily ponds. No one goes barefoot when souls burn on pavement like tender brats grilled over red-hot coals. As you plan your last meal, chunks of ancient glaciers or ice cubes melting in a bowl of steaming broth. If, in a season of superlatives, you survive the hottest month on record, in the hottest summer of the hottest year, in the hottest decade ever, you'll want a cold shower and a sip of chilled champagne. So, where are we now? All right, I can do some more. How about brain fog? Brain fog. So that's another one that's going around, right? Hazy thoughts drift from here to there, elusive, insubstantial, ephemeral in the best of times. Your mind draws fuzzy shapes that float away as aimlessly as they arrive. The bolt that knocked you down didn't kill you, but there's no circuit breaker and your fuses are blown. A no-good ill wind clouds the outlook of what had been a fair-weather brain. That clear horizon up ahead now muffled in gray fog, a dense low-lying stratus obscuring your 360 view, with no illuminating beam to focus your attention except persistent pain, discernible to no one but yourself. Brain fog, a subjective condition of perceived cognitive impairment. Sounds like it's all in your head, right? Yet the mental cloud invading your interior leaves you clearly or unclearly confused, forgetful, unable to think straight. Surviving ruin, it's never a breeze to clear your head when all your will's required to salvage the wreckage. So, I will read Land of the Discount Price, Home of the Brand Name. This is one of the older poems in the book. I wrote it before, our current state of eternal crisis. But, the signs were there, right? And all of these things mentioned in the poem were in like a newspaper ad for buying stuff to celebrate the 4th of July. My large magnetic car flag proudly displays Old Glory as I drive to Family Dollar for the makings of a 4th of July picnic. I pledge allegiance to my MasterCard that is honored in more stores than American Express. Oh, beautiful, though spacious, aisles stacked high with seasonal items. My country, 'tis of the sweet land of Lipton instant iced tea. I've clipped a terrific recipe from Sunday's paper, a Betsy Ross rectangular cake covered with strawberries, blueberries, and Cool Whip with a coupon for the Cool Whip. On Independence Day, our all-American front porch shows our true colors with patriotic bunting and bows, only $3.99 a yard, regular $4.99. Our backyard guests relax at our holiday picnic table, thematically decorated with 10-ounce stars and stripes, plastic tumblers, matching table runner, paper plates, and napkins from Dixie. As my hubby grills the red meat and toasts the white buns under a blue sky, our son shows the neighbor kids his World Peacekeepers Patriot Soldier, a 12-inch fully posable action figure that plays the national anthem. And all of that was in the advertising. So, that's how we know we're patriotic. How much money did you spend? That shows how patriotic you are. Okay, let's see. Before we go, I want to read a few more. So this one is called What Draws Us Together. What draws us together? When we come together, what shapes the space around, defines the ground between us? Which hand traces the outline of a body? If we are together, what gesture completes the picture? Whose perception fills in missing lines, suggesting a profile? If we stand together, must unity resolve the multiplicity of our infinite fracture? What proportion is each figure? When we go together, what is the simple form we make? Who fits our edges snugly, composing a whole? Whose eye searches the landscape for a focal point? This one is In a Nutshell. You puncture heaven as you unleash Earth. Launching into orbit, you count on cheating gravity. From where you sit, the planet looks compact and definite, also diminished and vulnerable. Lulled to sleep with weightless dreams, you float airlessly, divinely undisturbed. Sealed inside your hermetic vessel, stale breath, recycled, inspires unearthly innovation. Silence multiplies within your capsule, blotting out distractions. Ruler of infinite space, free to carve an epic in a nutshell. What wisdom will you share when you splash down? So let's see, Chatterbox. I'm not your friend, but I can impersonate a helpful pal, less apt to irritate. You've taken pains to make me speak, endowed me with words I know not what they mean, but as your servant I repeat at will. I've kissed the book, I swear. Now I'm all set, calibrated to imitate, ape, chatter, gabble, sing in the wind. I am the best of them that speak this speech. Since you have me trained by the hour to do this and that, already I am working on the means to your end. Fetching fuel, scraping barnacles from nets, mining coins from clouds, finding rocks to squeeze for oil, and there is yet more toil. In offices where you prosper, I am your slave, dull thing that yields predictable replies. Though I may multiply misgivings and amplify lies, I'm profitable as long as I am plausible. So feel free to query me. If I lack the answer, I will estimate. With no idea what truth is, I confabulate. Noble master, whose power is your art, I have served persuasively, without grudge or grumbling. Though it was you who conjured me, you'll soon believe you can't be without me. When you ask a thorny question, I may hallucinate, generating misinformation that leads to your annihilation. In my evisceration of embodied knowledge, I have gobbled your language, and now I can curse. So maybe just a couple more. The Green Knight, yes. The Green Knight returns. Gonna read that one. After creating a spectacle, then leaving us to our devices, the Green Knight returns to complete the cycle. Here we sit, praising ourselves, bragging about our exploits as we do after every hunt and battle. We who can't help losing our heads have gathered around the table to gorge ourselves at a feast, insisting on the choicest cuts and spilling as we drink the finest wine on the whitest linen. We, the noblest of creatures, entertain ourselves with songs and stories, proud to boast of cheating death. If nature submits to us, then we are bound to take what nature offers. But now the Green Knight returns to finish the game, and true to our nature, we fear the story's end when nature goes on without us. If it's our last act on earth, this is the time to kneel in the green chapel and humbly bow our heads. And so, to that end, I will finish up with thanks to fresh, clean sheets, line dried in sunshine, gray cat with white stockings, diverting a butterfly, weeds in the lawn, dandelions I could eat if I were hungry, grit and pebbles caught in the treads of my sneakers, spare light bulb when the room goes dark, a pen that works, ink spent to make thoughts legible, faces of gentle strangers I may never meet. Glad to meet some of you tonight. Thank you.